Good morning and welcome into Wake and Take, my first time hosting the show. Jason, thank you so much for having me here today. It is officially crossover week, which means you're going to be seeing me on a couple different shows, starting with Wake and Take. You're going to see me on the Dynasty Roundtable. You're going to see me on the Decision Point. You're going to see Jason on Player Profiler today. You're going to see Matt Babbage, Zach Dywald, a whole bunch of extremely talented people tuning in to Wake and Take, tuning in to Player Profiler today. And it's not just us. For the first time in 9 years, the Podfather will not be the host of Mind of Mansion. It is truly a groundbreaking affair, and we're here to cover it all with Player Profiler and Wake and Take. To be on the show. Happy to have Jason tuning in. Jason, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Happy to have Noob's World Order on the show. Good morning to you and everyone else out there. Dylan Gibson crossover week is here, and it is magnificent. So let's get into it. First and foremost, you may have heard me mention this last night on Player Profiler today, but if you are waking up to the news today, Kadarius Toney tweaked something in his knee. I don't know what a tweak is. A tweak is not an actual real life injury. You see, tweaks are either bruises, at the very best, a bruised knee, or it is a strained or sprained knee, depending on if it is a ligament or a tendon. Most of the knee is all ligaments instead of tendons, but that's not a real injury. A tweak is not a real injury, whether it is a knee sprain, whether it is a knee bruise, whether it is a pull of some muscle. A tweak does not exist. But either way, bad news for Richie James. Or no, not bad news for Richie James. Bad news for Kadarius Toney. Great news for Richie James. What are the over-under for Toney tweaks this year? Probably 3, probably 4-ish. Let's put it at 3.5 tweaks per year. Counting is this one. So this is already one. He needs 3 more tweaks before the end of the season to reach that over-under, and I wouldn't be surprised if he hit that. But yes, Kadarius Toney, he was supposed to be the wide receiver 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have hyped him up as that all off season long. And now, who's going to play outside? And this is not to say that Kadarius Toney is going to miss week 1. We have no idea about that. We don't know if that will happen. But we do know he is losing valuable time with Patrick Mahomes. And this was already an offense that liked to spread the ball around, liked to use different personnel formations with different wide receivers depending on what was required. You'd see Justin Watson in there on one wide receiver set. They'd have 3 tight ends, a running back, and Justin Watson out wide because he can block, he can stretch the field, he can do it all. So with Kadarius Toney already banged up, there is a real chance that even when he's healthy, the Kansas City Chiefs don't give him a full complement of snaps. He's not going to be playing 90% of the snaps because they want to keep him healthy. And that would open the door for Sky Moore. Sky Moore is already expected to be a starting wide receiver in 3 wide receiver sets. He is currently the slot receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs right now. It is Kadarius Toney outside. It is MVS, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, on the opposite side, stretching the field. And then it's Sky Moore in the slot. So with Kadarius Toney out of practice yesterday, Sky Moore ended up bumping up to the wide receiver 2. And the wide receiver 3 was Richie James. Richie James, all the guy does is produce. He did it with the San Francisco 49ers. He worked his way into the lineup surprisingly often. With a team with Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and Kendrick Bourne and Juwan Jennings. And Richie James was able to climb the depth chart slowly but surely, ended up becoming the wide receiver 1-2 for the New York Giants last year, and was just the epitome of consistency. And now he is working his way into the lineup for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's currently the wide receiver 4. But with Kadarius Toney out, that bumps him up to wide receiver 3. And Richie James could have some sneaky fantasy value. But before we get into all that, the Podfather has a word for you.
Hey, it's the Podfather of great news. The 2023 Draft Kit is live. It is world famous. Why? Because it is the best resource for winning fantasy football championships that exists. There are rankings and cheat sheets for every format you can imagine. We have projections both at the team level and the player level. And wherever you are, you can click on a player, open them up, and see in-depth written analysis about what to expect in fantasy football from that player this year. And then you can click on the team, and you can get even more in-depth analysis, all the drivers of fantasy production, both in a positive and negative direction for that team, including a signature trend. And the graphics are incredible. So these team insights, they give you the team-level projections, the vacated targets, the vacated areas, and that one dynamic for each team that you need to know when making decisions on draft day. And we added a bunch of features. I mean, individual cheat sheets for Theo and Billy and Dario. So you can take your favorite analyst and download their personal draft cheat sheet. And then in the commissioners section, also brand new this year, Memphis Young lays out everything you need to know to manage a league, do's, don'ts, tips, and what the more innovative fantasy commissioners are doing this year. That's presented by Trophy Smack. The whole package is presented by the Fantasy Football Players Championship, the FFPC, Ray Garvin, Derek Brown, the best minds in the industry contributing analysis. It's certainly not the most inexpensive draft kit on the market, but it is the best. PlayerProfiler.com/draft kit. PlayerProfiler.com/draft kit. Go get it.
Get the draft kit. Use promo code Jack when you sign up for $10 off. Or sorry, that's $10 off the all-in package, which includes the draft kit. Also has everything else that I have access to. Happy to have Blake on the show. Blake, a regular of Player Profiler today. Happy to have him on Wake and Take, showing some love. And Jason is not happy in the slightest that he is still rostering Richie James. Such a boring but useful hold. Richie James is like a Hunter Renfrow type player. Back when Hunter Renfrow was at his peak, where it's just, well, I can start this guy in my flex and I'm going to get points. And Tony in Dynasty League, should I get out now and get Sky? If you sell now, literally today on Kadarius Toney, you are getting out at the worst possible time. You are selling at the peak low value. As Dylan points out, don't sell, panic sell right now. This would be an absolute panic sell. I get wanting to pivot off Kadarius Toney, and I'm fine if that's what you choose, but don't overreact. Don't just rush out, trade him now, because people are going to see the news that he's hurt and be like, well, I'm offering this guy a third, fourth rounder instead. I'm not giving him a second rounder, first rounder. No way. So I think Kadarius Toney is a hold right now. Once he's healthy, once training camp videos start coming out of him just shredding people, putting defenders on skates, then you can trade him. But never, ever trade someone off of the bottom worst news you can get. It's going to go back up for Kadarius Toney. Then it'll go down. Then it'll go up. But never sell the day after the injury is announced, unless you get like a crazy haul. If you traded Breece Hall to a non-contender last year after the ACL, then that's fine. But these are things to consider. And we also have to consider Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice has a path to be the wide receiver 3-4 for the Kansas City Chiefs as well. Right now, he's the wide receiver 5 behind Kadarius Toney, behind MVS, behind Sky Moore, and behind Richie James. But Rashee Rice is a natural fit in the slot as well. What he can do after the catch works very well, very similar to Juju Smith-Schuster. But he'll have to beat out Justyn Ross. He'll have to beat out Justin Watson, because Justin Watson's already getting first-team reps as well. Kansas City Chiefs held Justin Watson on the IR all season last year, and now they're going to see what he has this year. They're throwing him into the fire, see if he sinks or swims. It's looking like he is going to swim at least to a roster spot, be one of the Kansas City Chiefs' top 7 wide receivers. But it's not all good news. It's not all, well, sorry, this Kadarius Toney news has not been good at all. KT is a highlight reel and wait for that. Absolutely wait for the highlight reel. But it's not all good for everyone in Kansas City. It's not all good for all these running backs either. Deneric Prince is getting all sorts of hype at Kansas City Chiefs training camp. We're hearing Isaiah Pacheco looks good. He looks healthy. They're holding him back just a little bit. He's not full 100% go. But I've heard nothing about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I've heard no buzz from the Kansas City Chiefs beat reporters. None of it. Instead, it's all about Deneric Prince. It's all about Isaiah Pacheco. I don't expect Jerick McKinnon to have paragraphs written about him. Everyone knows what Jerick McKinnon is, who he is, what he does. But the fact that Deneric Prince is getting the buzz and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not, well, that stands out just a little bit to me. We do have some more news across the NFL. We also found out earlier today that Nyheim Hines was placed on, he suffered a season-ending injury. He hasn't been placed on injured reserve just yet. But Nyheim Hines going to miss the entire 2023 season. We don't know what the knee injury is just yet. We'll let you know when we do. But Nyheim Hines was supposed to be in the mix for touches. It's James Cook as the lead back, the satellite back. Damian Harris was going to be also the lead back in a different sense. He's more of a traditional lead back where he takes the first and second down between the tackles carries, but James Cook's still the starter, so he's also technically leading the offense. It's weird, but James Cook was going to be the 1B Damian Harris, and then Nyheim Hines and Latavius Murray were set to compete for snaps behind them. Nyheim Hines had the inside track because he was also the kick and punt returner. We all remember that kick return touchdown that he had against New England Patriots after the Damar Hamlin game. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it's just unfortunate that Nyheim Hines will not play this season. It opens the door for Latavius Murray to make the roster for the Buffalo Bills. Opens the door for Jordan Mims, an undrafted free agent, to make the roster as well. And it helps James Cook as well. James Cook was no lock to see all 50-plus receptions for Devin Singletary this year. Nyheim Hines was going to mix in on a fair amount of third downs. Now, Latavius Murray can still mix in on third downs, but he's going to be in there less as a receiving role and more as just a pass blocker. And so I don't think Latavius Murray is much of a threat to take targets, carries away from James Cook. He's just going to have his RB3 role. He was more of a threat to Damian Harris and competing with him on the goal line and between the tackles carries as well. So just unfortunate for Nyheim Hines. We wish him a speedy recovery like Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams is having a speedy recovery. He will not start on the PUP. Unfortunately, we don't know what the injury is for Nyheim Hines just yet. We just know that it is a knee injury. Obviously, we assume it's an ACL, but we don't have that information yet. Tom Pelissero, when he first reported it, was just a knee injury, just accepted to end the season. But that's where we are. Anyways, back to Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams will not start the season on the physically unable to perform list, which is freaking-tastic news. Javonte Williams isn't headed to the pup. Javonte Williams is healthy. Javonte Williams is looking like he's going to start week 1. Non-life-threatening injury that requires surgery on a jet ski. It was a jet ski injury hit. Oh, no. Hines was stationary on a jet. Oh, no. This is just all sorts of unfortunate. I am very sorry to hear that. I wish Nyheim Hines a very speedy recovery. That's unfortunate. Oh, yeah, I'm just seeing the notifications coming in now. While sitting stationary on a jet ski, Nyheim Hines was struck by another rider. It's the same serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Hines will require surgery. That just sucks. That sucks quite a bit. Get well soon, Nyheim Hines. As for Javonte Williams, he's recovering well. He's expected to be out there week 1. He's expected to be the lead back. He's expected to still be in a timeshare, though. He's going to be in a timeshare with Samaje Perine. They're going to bring him along slowly. He's going to start out. It'll probably be 45% Javonte Williams, 55% Samaje Perine to start the year, and that will slowly go up, and eventually it'll be 60-40 for Javonte Williams, but I don't see it getting much past 60-40 in 2023, or at least maybe by the end of the season, but it's going to take quite a while. The Broncos do not want Javonte Williams to be a full bell cow this year. They want to give him some rest. They want to give him some plays off. They want to keep him healthy, but he's on a good track for that so far. And the Lions are on a good track with their young offense already. I'm telling you now, the Jahmyr Gibbs hype is only going to go up and up and up. Every time he takes the field, the beat reporters for the Detroit Lions are drooling. Every time a clip gets released, everyone freaks out. Everyone is drooling. Everyone is in love with Jahmyr Gibbs. He is a true talent. He is special in the passing game, and that means he's special in non-contact practices. So Jahmyr Gibbs, be ready for that ADP to climb as we continue to get hype every single day about how good he looks, how many passes he's going to catch. This is not the highest that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be drafted. He is going to be drafted much higher by the end of the offseason because of the beat reporters just being in love with him. Now, we've also got Sam LaPorta. Sam LaPorta is now the starting tight end for the Detroit Lions. He has usurped Brock Wright's position. First snap of the first practice for the Detroit Lions, and Sam LaPorta was the tight end one. We knew this was going to happen eventually, but it is still noteworthy. This is stuff we pay attention to. Rookies progressing through training camp. Rookies leapfrogging other players on the depth chart, and Sam LaPorta has done that. He is now the second tight end to seize a starting job as a rookie. Luke Musgrave was the first. Now it's Sam LaPorta. Michael Mayer will probably be the next tight end to seize a starting job when he beats out Austin Hooper and OJ Howard. And it's not Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox is not going to beat out it is not Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid is not going to beat out Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox is the starter. Dalton Kincaid, barring an injury, he's not going to be the starting tight end in 2023. Just warning you now. We also have some updates on Rashod Bateman. Rashod Bateman has reported to training camp, which is good news. We were worried when he did not show up. The Ravens placed him on the did not report list. And now Rashod Bateman's here. But how healthy is he? Is he going to be practicing? How did he respond to the cortisone injection in his foot? Is he happy? Is he healthy? Some massive question marks when it comes to Rashod Bateman. And just wait. We're going to be getting, just like Jahmyr Gibbs, Zay Flowers is a player that stands out in non-contact practices, which training camp still mostly is. So Zay Flowers is another guy that's going to see the hype grow and grow and grow because he is going to be making people miss that can't tackle him anyways. Zay Flowers, he is another player that will see his stock climb all off season long. But Rashod Bateman, if he is healthy, he can help tamp that down just a little bit. For now, remember, Zay Flowers, he's the best wide receiver for the Ravens. Even though Odell Beckham only practiced a day and a half, even though Rashod Bateman didn't practice. So, Zay Flowers is officially better than Nelson Aguilar. Congratulations. Amazing. Didn't see that coming at all. We also have an update on Chase Claypool. He is headed to the physically unable to perform list. We've heard that he was battling with tweaks all throughout the offseason. He was banged up. He was not fully healthy. We'll see what happens when he eventually takes the field, what his injuries actually are, how serious they are. But we know that the Bears aren't exactly thrilled with Chase Claypool. They haven't been too happy all offseason long. They haven't been too excited all offseason long about Chase Claypool. We've heard complaints. And even when Chase Claypool, when he went over to Europe and had a football camp with some other players, and the Bears were part of this, they didn't post about it. They didn't advertise that one of their players was overseas working with kids to teach them football. And that's a bad sign. If the Bears aren't even willing to promote the good deeds that you are doing, Bears are out on Chase Claypool, and you should be too. Instead, it's going to be Darnell Mooney as the wide receiver 2 for the Chicago Bears. The wide receiver 3 is actually going to be Cole Kmet. And Chase Claypool is just going to be there, just going to be existing. And that's about it. Thank you all so much for tuning in to my first time hosting Wake and Take. Hope you enjoyed the news. Hope you are all caught up. Make sure you tune into the rest of Dynasty Week 2. You'll see Jason live tonight, 7 p.m. on Player Profiler today. You'll see me again tonight. I will be alongside Bradley Stalder drafting his pros versus Joe's team at 8:45 EST. Podfather is going to be hosting a wide array of shows. It is a good time to tune into Player Profiler. Make sure you catch it all on Crossover Week.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.